So our patients at Bradford will trigger a requirement for sepsis sepsis when they have a news score of 5 or more of 3 in 1 parameter. What you will then see is this sepsis screening needed box. There are two options. You can either bypass or document. Bypass is only to be used when you don't know the patient and you need to get into the patient record before completing the screening tool. This box will regenerate when you try and close the patient record down if you have not documented at this point. So we're going to go on to document so that we can open up the sepsis screening tool. The boxes on the screening tool need to be completed. Anything in yellow is mandatory. So the first box, identify if there are any indicators which are relevant for this patient. Then, is it likely due to an infection? You've got 3 possible responses. A yes will lead you on to identify the likely source. Any high risk criteria, you can choose from multiple options. So if the patient just has a news of 7, you can click on the top box. However, if they have a news between 5 and 6 plus another dysfunction, as in organ failure, then you can choose more than one. If they don't have high risk criteria, then you can choose your moderate risk criteria. From the options below. Embedded within the screening tool are all the vital signs which have made up the news of 5 or more or 3 in 1 parameter. If you say no to an infection, likely infection, you're going to be required to input why. So this might be because of a GI bleed. You might also know that your patient's got sepsis and you've already started them on treatment. Therefore, you can just complete that yellow box. Once you've completed the screening tool, you sign the form by ticking the green box. These sepsis alerts will be suppressed if completed. The time of suppression is anywhere between 12 and 48 hours, depending on the response that is recorded in the screening tool. So I said earlier that I would show you where to find the screening tool if on the initial alert you need to click on bypass to review your patients. So on the visit summary page, on the left hand side there is a tab called tasks. If you go into tasks, if you click on medical, although it's not showing here because it's completed, you will be able to retrieve the screening tool and complete appropriately. If through the screening tool or through clinical judgment you feel your patient requires treatment for suspicion of sepsis, we have a bundle available within EPR for you to use. What will also happen when you complete the screening tool, as you can see, this was our patient that we screened. It will update your doctor work list to suggest that the patient has sepsis but is already on known treatment. That wording will change depending on what the outcome of the sepsis screen was. This will also help you to identify which of your patients still require screening. So here you have the sepsis adult bundle, which encompasses everything that you would require to enable you to treat your patient with sepsis. It sits in request and care plans, and it will either be in a suggested care plan once you've completed the screening tool, or you can add it and search for sepsis bundle. So if we go through the bundle, what the first thing is suggesting that you do is ensure that a senior review is initiated if treatment is required urgently, and if you feel it's necessary, contact critical care outreach. You also have the ability to request any blood tests that you require for your patients requiring a screen if they haven't already had them. Now you can see that the box is already ticked, which means that all of the bloods embedded within this bundle are automatically going to be requested once you initiate this bundle. If your patient's already had bloods and they don't require them, then you can simply just untick the ones that you don't require and return to the bundle to continue. The next request is for MCNS tests. If you click on the box, it will generate some requests for you. If you specifically want a urine or a sputum, then you tick either the first top two, or if you just require a general swab, then there are two requests that you can generate from here, and you will just need to enter the specific specimen that you are going to be requesting. Again, returning to the bundle, there's just a reminder in here that if your patient's HB is less than 70, that they will require a cross-match, and if that is the case, then you will be able to request a group and save directly within the bundle. Also reminding you to check your lactate, and that's important to repeat it hourly if your initial lactate is raised or if you have got concerns about your patient. Another reminder to check your blood glucose, and maintaining them below 10 is what we're aiming for with patients with sepsis. If you're thinking that the source of sepsis might be chest and your patient hasn't had a chest x-ray, again you can request a chest x-ray directly from this bundle. If you haven't already prescribed oxygen, you will also be able to prescribe it from here. You can see it is automatically ticked, so if you haven't prescribed it, then it will allow you to prescribe it. However, if you have prescribed it, you can untick it so that you don't get a duplication of prescription. Fluid balance is important for our patients with sepsis. You can see this is also another field that is automatically ticked, and what this will do is pull a reminder down onto the nursing task list to ensure that fluid balance is completed. It is set at standard every 4 hours, but if you would like them to change the frequency of how often they're checking the patient's urine, so if you'd like it hourly, then you can update the frequency. Fluids for your patients, should they require it, are embedded again within the bundle. Ticking on the fluid resuscitation box will generate some further prescriptions. You have the choice in here of either Hartmann's or normal saline. and you have the option of either 250 mils or 500 mils. We would like you to only give 250 mils to any patients over the age of 65 with known comorbidities. You can only request one bag at a time, because it's important that you review patients after each bag for the need for further fluid replacement. The antibiotics for your presumed source of sepsis are embedded within the bundle also. So you would choose the correct source, and under the source heading, you would then choose the antibiotic to prescribe. So you can see under chest, we have a community-acquired pneumonia protocol for elderly care and non-elderly care, as well as hospital-acquired pneumonia. So it's important under chest to note that you are choosing the right antibiotic protocol. So if we have a patient, is an age 47, who has a community-acquired pneumonia, excluding elderly care, we would tick on the first box, and it would bring up the antibiotic regime required. Important that you know that your patient's allergy status, and according to that, you would then tick the correct antibiotics that you required. So my patient is not allergic to penicillin, and I'm considering a community-acquired pneumonia, so I would tick on the boxes. This will also generate your prescriptions on the prescription chart. So it saves you time. You don't have to go in individually and prescribe all of these components one by one. If any of your antibiotic regimes require ticaplanin or gentamicin, the guidance and the plans and the management protocols are all embedded within this bundle, so that you don't have to go searching for anything. You will also see at the end that a pharmacy review, automatically ticked, will ensure that your prescriptions are reviewed on a daily basis, and any antibiotics prescribed will be reviewed by them. Once you've completed all of the fields that you require, you then go on and sign for everything that you have prescribed. If you are requesting anything, the majority of the mandatory fields that are required, we've already populated for you. The only mandatory fields that you will need to require are the fields that need specific data from yourself, such as where did you take your blood culture from, where is the MCNS, which if it isn't urine or sputum, where is your MCNS specimen taken. But otherwise, all other mandatory fields are already generated, so it reduces the amount of time it's going to take you to order.